Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining us this evening. We are going to just wait about another minute or so to give folks a chance to join. Again, thank you for joining us tonight. We'll go ahead and get started now. It looks like people have started to trickle in. So again, thank you for joining us tonight for our program information session about our online Masters in Data Science, Policy, Governance, and Society program. The agenda for this evening, we're going to start with an introduction to Brown's Data Science Institute. We're going to learn a little bit more about the program format. Then we'll jump into some curriculum highlights. Then we will present the application checklist, going over what you will need to submit a complete application. And then we will save some time at the end for a live Q&A. So for your meeting your presenters this evening, we're going to hold on Linda because she's going to introduce herself on the next slide, but she is our academic program director. My name is Amanda Whitaker. I am the program specialist for online graduate programs at the School of Professional Studies, where I provide operational and administrative support for our portfolio of online programs. And I will pass it to Mel.
Hi, everyone. I am Melanie. I am your graduate coordinator for the program. So I will be your point of contact as you're considering the program. And then once you decide that this is the program for you, then I'm more than happy to walk you through all of those application steps and make sure that you're fully confident when submitting.
Great. So now I will pass it over to Linda to introduce herself.
Well, first of all, thank you all for attending this evening. At least for us, it's evening, whatever time zone you might be in. As Amanda said, I'm Linda Clark. I am a faculty member in the Data Science Institute here at Brown University. I come from maybe a non-traditional background for a data scientist, but it might resonate with some of you. I'm actually a social scientist by training, who got into data science a long time ago, before it really was data science. And I really like to think about teaching, how we teach data science, how we design curricula. So being the academic program director for this program has been really, really exciting for me.
Thank you, Linda. And I am going to pass it over to Linda again, so she can give us a little bit more details about Brown's Data Science Institute, where this program is housed.
Yeah, so we have taken a very unique approach to data science at Brown University. As opposed to having a college or a school or a department, we are an institute. And the reason that's very important is that it allows us not to be based in a disciplinary focus. It really allows us to think about data science more broadly across all disciplines. And that is really important for this program. I don't know that this program would have arisen from a data science college or department, because we understand the importance of interdisciplinary studies. And so that's a really big piece of what we do. And you can see on the slide that we have two research centers in DSI. We have the Center for Technological Responsibility, Reimagine and Redesign. And I know that's a mouthful, but we'll talk a little bit more about that later. But that's really our center that focuses on issues of fairness, bias, socio-technical issues. And then our second center is a Center for Computational and Molecular Biology. We do have a undergraduate minor in data fluency, and we have a residential master's program in data science as well. We're really proud of the fact that each year we sponsor seed grants for faculty in a variety of academic disciplines, and they pursue research topics and share those with the community.
Great. Now we're going to talk a little bit more about the format of this online program. So the program is 100% asynchronous, but it is not self-paced. So each semester is 14 weeks long, and there are assignments that are going to be due each week as you move through the semester. In addition, there are optional weekly synchronous sessions. So each class has an optional hour-long session that's held after in the evening Eastern time. where it's not intended to teach or lecture. It is more of a time to discuss what has been learned, and really kind of synthesize that information. For students who aren't able to attend, these are recorded and posted in the class shell and Canvas, so you're able to watch it if the time doesn't work with your schedule. The program, we're going to go into a little bit more detail about exactly what the courses are, but it consists of 8 total courses. On a full-time plan of study, students take 2 classes each semester for 4 consecutive semesters. So it takes 16 months to complete. If necessary, we also offer students the ability to take 1 class a semester, for either the entirety or a small portion of the program, depending on your schedule. And the tuition is $7,500 a course. So that is about $60,000 for the total program. We do have merit scholarships available that for up to 50% of tuition. When you submit your application, you are automatically reviewed for these scholarships. And when you receive your admission decision, if you're admitted, you'll also know if you received a scholarship or not. And now we're going to pivot to the curriculum. So I'm going to pass it to Linda.
Yeah, so we again have designed this program to be very interdisciplinary in nature. So if when we show you the courses, you'll see there's a mix of technical and policy and governance courses. But we want you to be able to think about analyzing policy related to AI, thinking about the ethical, social impacts of artificial intelligence. How is this being used? Is it ethical? Is it fair? And also thinking forward. What are the next steps in this field? We strongly believe, actually, we know that thinking about policy and governance around data science and AI is the next wave. It is where this field is headed. And do you want to be a part of that? And it's a really exciting opportunity. We don't have any alumni yet. In a few weeks, we'll be launching our first semester cohort. We're really excited about that. And in the research that we've done, we know that there are opportunities, obviously, in universities and research centers. We have a bunch of folks here at Brown that are doing, but also there is a very large presence in government agencies and international organizations. And if you're thinking, well, maybe not at the federal level right now, it is really, really active in this field at the state and local government level. And then there's industry. We know that our tech partners are hiring folks to develop these policies to think about how data is being used. We also at Brown have a very large and strongly knit alumni basis. And so while we don't have graduates of this program, we certainly have folks working in all of these different sectors that I just mentioned that you'll have the opportunity to network as a student in our program. So here are our courses. Again, if you look at the titles, you'll see that, for example, in semester 1, the course that I'm teaching is Technical Foundations. We want to make sure that everybody has a baseline amount of technical skills. If you already have technical skills, we have integrated activities that are relevant to policy and governance in that course. If you're taking the 2 courses at the same time, you would also be enrolled in the basic AI and policy ethics. And so this is the course that's going to get you familiar with these topics and get you started thinking more broadly about policy. In semester 2, the technical course is a data engineering course. And so while it is data engineering, the focus of this data engineering is on issues of bias and fairness as you go through the data engineering process. The corresponding course with that is evidence-driven policymaking. This course is really half technical and half policy because it really focuses on how can we use data to shape policy. So sort of thinking about it the other way. In the 3rd semester, you'll be in a machine learning, deep learning, LLM course. But again, this course is going to be taught differently in that we will be not only teaching ML, for those of you who don't know it, but we will also be addressing the technical issues around remediating bias in our models. And that is accompanied by a course called Fairness and Bias. So that handles sort of the socio-cultural issues around fairness and bias and how they are impacted by these algorithms and these implementations of data science and AI. The final semester is our sort of our last course, which is that forward-looking course, our data governance and advanced topics in AI. That's going to be a really exciting course to really think through case studies and how do we move forward and how do we build on this information that we had throughout the program. And that's accompanied by an applied learning experience. And that will be a course where you will have an opportunity to take what you've learned in the program and apply it in some meaningful way. Again, we don't have any track record with this. Our ideas around this is if you're working in a professional role and there might be an opportunity for you at your place of employment, maybe you take on a project, maybe you tackle a case study that is happening out there in the real world right now. Maybe you do some analysis on algorithms and outcomes. We, again, don't have any track record for this, but we're really excited about the possibilities that that can bring.
Thank you. And now we're going to pass it to Mel so she can go over what you need to have a completed application for review.
Thank you. So, firstly, everyone would need a completed bachelor's degree from an accredited institution. With that, we would also need your transcripts from all universities attended. Even if no degree was conferred and it was a transfer credit, we would still need those transcripts. So unofficial copies are perfectly fine up until you're admitted into the program. Then we would need official copies. Within those transcripts should be at least one semester of college level statistics and also programming if you took that in your undergrad as well. If you did not and you have that experience professionally, just make sure that you highlight that on your resume. So nextly, we would need your resume, and that just has to reflect 2 years of full-time professional work experience. If you have any questions as far as your particular circumstance, what is equivalent to full-time professional work experience, we can definitely connect. We do have a slide at the end just with our contact information. After that, we would need 3 letters of recommendation. So 3 people that will just speak really highly of you, your professionalism, and the potential impact that you can have within the program. So what experiences have you had that pretty much have ready or prepared you for this program or motivated you for this particular program with us? Something that I add about your letters of recommendation, as you're having those discussions, just give them about a 2-week window to submit their letter, just because we know that there's a lot of delays once everything is in and we're just waiting on a couple of people to submit their letter. So just give that a little tidbit. And then if not, you just have someone else on standby. And you can also submit your recommenders even after submitting your application. After that, we would need your work artifact. Super hot topic. So any professional product that you have that pretty much supports your professionalism and some kind of relevance to the topics presented in the program, we would like to see that. So some examples of that can be maybe a presentation deck that you've given that you're proud of, accompanied by a material just supporting why this presentation deck, how is this relevant to the program, and what are your goals thereafter. Some people, they may provide maybe data tables that they use professionally, and again, just explaining the relevance and your plans thereafter once you complete the program. But of course, if you have any particular questions about your experience, we can always connect one-on-one to talk about it. Again, for your transcripts, unofficial copies are perfectly fine up until you're admitted into the program, but we would need official copies once you're admitted for students who have attended a university outside of the United States. We will need a transcript evaluation, and we accept them through WES, SpanTran, or ECE. Now, something to keep in mind with that, if that is your circumstance, definitely try to request them a little earlier in the timeline because they do have a bit of a delay, and we wouldn't want that to, hinder any kind of application timeline that you are aiming for. Another thing with international students or students who have attended a university outside of the United States, we would also require a language proficiency evaluation. And we have a list of countries that are accepted where we would not need that evaluation. But if your university is not in one of those listed countries, we would need that language proficiency evaluation. So something fun to know about that is that a self-reported score will be considered for your application to be reviewed. But once you're admitted into the program, we would need official copies from either TOEFL or IELTS. And again, those don't have a long delay like the transcript evaluations, but you should still try to, request those a little bit sooner in the timeline. So with that, all of those steps would bring you to the end of that application process, and that's when you would be prompted to submit that $100 application fee. Fun note, we actually extended that app fee waiver up until September 15th. So if you apply by or before that date, then it'll be automatically waived. And then following all these steps will pretty much just lead to a completed application. So that link right there will just bring you to that portal. If you don't have an account, it'll just prompt you to create it.
Thanks, Mel.
You're welcome.
And we know that the work artifact is something that a lot of students are a little bit confused or unsure about because it is different from a traditional personal statement. So Linda has reviewed a bunch of applications and has a kind of a better idea now about what we're really looking for. So she's going to give you some more guidance on what would be a strong work artifact.
I think the big takeaway is some things that Mel has referenced in her comments is we're really looking for your motivation to be in this program. There aren't a lot of programs like this out there. And so we want to know what is the motivation for you to be here. So Mel referenced it could be a technical report that you did for your company or a data table. It can also be something non-technical. So if you've done some work in the community and observed some examples of, unfair algorithms or any such thing that is really motivating you to think about a career in this area, those will count. Those are great. So it's really the story of the work artifact. I don't want to discount the quality of the work artifact, but it really is how do you connect this work artifact to what this program is all about. So you can see we have a couple of examples here. This is a policy paper written for a nonprofit organization. So it was not a technical piece, but it was very compelling. And then a data visualization for your company. So again, that is a technical example. We will take both, be creative. And as Mel keeps saying, if you're in doubt, reach out. But really, the underlying theme here is just whatever it is, connect it to what's in our program.
Thanks, Linda. And then here's a few other successful work artifacts. So another policy paper, a different presentation, some research data. So these are all things to kind of get you thinking about what you might have done already that you're able to submit. I think one thing we're really encouraging students not to forget about, though, is that narrative or that explanation that you're submitting along with it that kind of ties your work artifact to your motivation for studying in this program. Okay, so taking a look at some upcoming deadlines. We are currently accepting applications for our spring semester that will start in January. Our priority application deadline is September 15th. If you submit by then, you will receive that application fee waiver. So we really encourage you to get that done as soon as possible. Also, it's great to get your application in earlier to be assessed for scholarships and things like that. So it's always beneficial to get everything done as soon as possible. The final deadline to be reviewed for the spring is going to be on October 15th. We are about to open up next month the application for next fall. So that's going to open September 15th for the semester that will start about a year from now. Okay, so we have now reached the question and answer portion of the webinar. There is a Q&A feature in the Zoom toolbar. If you would like to put your questions in there, we will answer those.
while we're waiting for questions to come in, how large is the online cohort? Um, since we are just starting, we are at about 20 students for this incoming fall cohort. We hope over time to build that up to be larger, but right now it's a very small, intimate group. So if you like small class sizes, you'd like intimate cohorts, I would strongly encourage you to think about the spring intake, because we are seeing our numbers start to creep up. So that would be a great opportunity to have a small cohort. That might be a better question for Amanda. I believe that we are set on the fall 2025.
Yes, we passed the fall deadline, so the next opportunity to start would be in January.
But it will be the same curriculum. It will be taught by the same people. And you won't be missing out on anything if you start in spring versus fall. So,
And it will give you some more time to prepare for studying and getting a financial plan in order. So we don't want anyone to feel rushed into making a big decision. We do have a question about, do we get access to Handshake once admitted? You would get access to that once you start the program and you're matriculated into the program.
another question about a mock class or current course session. Amanda, maybe you can refresh my memory. Melissa Duell Berlin, who is one of our faculty, actually did a little webinar a few months ago. I believe that we recorded that. That should be available somewhere. I don't know where it is. So sorry.
We did, and we also are very excited that we're going to be able to start offering class visits for admitted students this fall. So once you're admitted into the program, you receive an email like the next week after you get your decision that allows you to fill out a form to request the chance to sit in on a live class. We unfortunately can't offer it to every prospective student because there's just so many people, but if you are admitted to the program, you do have the opportunity to sit in on a class before you make a decision about attending.
See, two questions about visiting campus. As a Brown University student, you do have access to things that any other Brown University student has access. So you can definitely, I think, get on campus and get into buildings. Is that right, Amanda?
Yes, yeah. If you come and get a student ID, you have access to all the campus resources. And then also, like the library has a ton of resources online. So online students who might be, on the other side of the country are still going to have access to any of those digital resources.
A question about in-person opportunities such as conferences other than class visits. I'm just first going to say something about not being on campus because I mentioned before our center within DSI. There are a number of speakers that come in weekly through that center, but also that you can attend virtually, but also DSI hosts speaker series. And you will be put on our newsletter for DSI and you will have the opportunity to attend those. You'll have Zoom links to attend. But if you are in the area, you could certainly come in and attend those events on campus. So you will be getting a lot of information about how to interface with the Data Science Institute at Brown and all of the things around data science that are happening. Amanda, maybe you could take the part about other in-person opportunities.
Yeah, so we welcome students to come. We have some students that are coming to the in-person master's orientation this fall. And then also we had online students from our Master of Public Health program that came to commencement in the spring. So online students are welcome and encouraged if they can or want to come to these type of events. We have some students who are just going to be visiting the area and they just reach out to see if they can, swing by. I know DSI has a ton of residential grad students that are always doing interesting type of things. So you are more than welcome. And we're happy to see you in person.
Yeah, I would definitely say you are part of DSI. I see there's also a question about where this program is housed. This is a degree in data science. So it appears on a transcript similarly to our resident data science. The program, the administrative pieces of it are administered through the School of Professional Studies. So just to illustrate that, I am part of DSI and Amanda and Melanie are part of the School of Professional Studies. So this is a true partnership. But the Data Science Institute handles all of the academics. And so your degree is from the Data Science Institute. So this is a degree, a master's degree in data science.
And it says Brown University, and it doesn't indicate that you received the degree online either. So.
Yep. I see a question about the program. It's maiden program. This fall will be the first semester that we're running our courses. So again, if you're thinking about spring, that would be the second cohort through the program. I will say that the expertise of the faculty that we have brought in to design and teach these classes, most of them have been either working in Washington, D.C. or working for organizations that consult for governmental agencies. We have few people who are extremely well known in this space. So in terms of the content of the courses, I would find it hard pressed to find anything in terms of content that is more relevant than what these folks are delivering. Obviously, recent events in Washington, D.C. allowed these people to have some more time, and we took full advantage of that. We're happy to have them around.
In terms of job placement, we don't offer job placement, but all online students do have access to our Career Center for master's students. So this is designed specifically for graduate students, and they offer things like resume help, cover letter, mock interviews. They also hold networking events that are offered virtually, and there is access to a job board that's exclusively for Brown students and alumni.
And there's a question about preparation for a PhD program. I got to take off my academic program director hat and put on my faculty hat and say that when you're looking at prospective PhD programs, just as you looked at the admission requirements for our program, you should be looking for the admission requirements for that program to see if they require anything specific. However, we are a master's program. We are an accredited institution. You will come out of this program with technical skills along with the policy. So if that kind of a background is something that your PhD programs are looking for, this certainly would lead into that. But it's a little hard for me to say because each program might be slightly different. I think we had a question about the priority deadline. Maybe
Yeah, I'm gonna flip back to the so the priority deadline for fall is going to be May 15th, and then the priority deadline for spring 27 is going to be the priority deadline, yeah, is going to be September 15th, 2026. So the deadlines stay the same every year for each cohort.
Question about elective courses, Amanda. Maybe you could handle that one.
Yes. So right now, this program is what we call like a lockstep curriculum. We don't offer electives. It's been designed very intentionally so that the classes build off of each other semester to semester, but also are integrated each semester so that the policy class and the more technical class relate to each other. Linda's been very involved in obviously the course design and the design of the program. And we've really tried, since this is so specific to policy and governance, to really give students the skills and then the information that they're going to need to have a successful career or be marketable in like these type of policy and governance roles specifically. And then it says, once I take all the courses, can I take more or can I take more than 2 semesters? To graduate from the program, you only need to take those 8 courses. You and like I don't know about if you can register for other classes outside of the program. Honestly, we have to. If you want to reach out to us when we put the contact information, we can look into that. But in terms of for this program, you only need to take the eight courses. And I know in terms of like if you're using financial aid, often you can't take courses outside of the degree program to be covered by that.
But if you could follow up with an email to us, we can certainly look into the possibility of what that would entail. Again, we're kind of new to the space, so I apologize for not having all of the answers, but please do email us. So I'm curious to know. We can figure that out.
And then, yeah, we have a question about the length of the program. So it's 8 courses. If you go full time, which is taking 2 courses a semester, it's going to take 16 months to complete. Obviously, if you go slower, it will change that, but most students complete within like I think 16 to 24 months.
So in other words, you can go fall, spring, summer, fall. So you can go year round. If you want to accelerate that, and obviously, as Amanda said, if you want to slow that down a little bit, you can as well. So to confirm the degree is a master's in data science from Brown University. And that's what it will say on your transcript. It will not be a degree in anything else but data science. This program is literally under the same umbrella. It is under the Data Science Institute at Brown University. So my colleague who directs our resident master's program, and I direct the online master's program, and we are equal partners in that.
We have a question about completing the program at an accelerated pace. Right now, that's not possible because we are building the courses as the program is kind of launching so that the courses are relevant when students are taking them. If you build too early, by the time you get students in the class, especially in a field like this, the information might not be super relevant. There is a potential down the line that you could, that's something that all students have an advising coordinator that you'd want to talk to them about. And in certain circumstances, students may be able to accelerate. And then we have another question about the graduation ceremony. So yes, there is a in-person graduation ceremony that all online students are invited to. It is the same master's ceremony that all residential programs attend. So it's a very exciting time. We had a lot of online students come from our MPH program this year, and they walked with the residential MPH folks as well. So there wasn't any distinction if they completed the degree online or in person.
Yeah, and in DSI, we do have a celebration for our graduating master's students, and we are so excited in a couple of years to be adding folks from this program as well. And yes, Brown is an Ivy League institution. We are part of that esteemed network of institutions that founded higher education in the United States. It's an exciting place to be.
Great. It doesn't look like we have any more questions. We'll just give it a couple seconds to see if any more trickle in. Okay, we've got one more. Are there opportunities in the health or hospital space or projects one can do through labs at Brown using data science?
Yeah, like I said, as a student, you will be put on our Data Science Institute newsletter. And that is not a trivial piece of information. We are literally the hub at Brown University for all things data science. So when folks on campus want to advertise or promote something, they come to us. We have an events and communication person who is very, very busy in our office. And on that newsletter, if there are opportunities that you want to apply for, you want to work with, you will see those. And again, those opportunities are literally from everything from theater to the medical school, they really literally run the gamut in terms of the faculty interests in doing data science. So we do have a very robust folks doing bioinformatics and have a really heavy data science interest there. We also have some faculty at the medical school who are also doing data science. So for example, they're using machine learning algorithms to help with diagnoses. That is one of the beauties of having a data science institute, because we are literally connected with the whole university, and so our students are connected with the whole university.
And it looks like we have one more question about workload and what type of assignments students are going to be completing.
Yeah, that's a great question. And it really highlights the fact that this is a very interdisciplinary program. So in some of the courses, they're going to be more technical assignments. And in some of the courses, they're going to be maybe more written in terms of learning how to develop policy and write policy briefs. And again, in some of the courses, it's going to be a mixture of both. Okay, so Amanda referenced this before, but we have put a lot of thought and a lot of extra work into making sure that when you're sitting in a technical course, it doesn't feel like a technical course. And when you're sitting in the policy course, you're referencing the things that you've done in the technical course. And so we are literally making these connections between those courses. So yeah, you'll have more technical sort of assignments in the technical courses, but they'll be relevant to policy and fairness and bias. And then again, you can be using some of the technical skills in the policy courses as well. And so it's going to be a really nice mix. And I will say that all of the assignments and everything is self-contained in our Canvas learning tool, which is really designed well. We have digital learning and design specialists that each of our faculty work with to put the courses together. So I will say they take my ideas and they have structured them in a format that is really outstanding.
Thank you. And then we have a question about the application. Can we submit more than one artifact during the application? I believe we would like you to pick what one you think best demonstrates, but we can, Mel or Linda, do you have any input there?
Yeah, so definitely, like Amanda said, use your strongest example for that work artifact requirement. If you have additional materials that you would like to add just to pretty much just support your motivation for pursuing the program, definitely go for it. It can't hurt. It'll only strengthen your application because ultimately you don't have an interview process once the committee starts to review your application. It's a holistic review of all of your credentials that you've provided for them to review, and then you get your admissions decision. So I always recommend adding as many materials as you would like just to pretty much speak to your experiences this far, but it is completely optional.
Yeah, and I it's not a bad thing to have the two of them, but it's quality is more important than quantity. So don't just add a lot to add a lot. Add more because it is highlighting your interest and your motivation to be in the program. So just think through that. Again, nothing wrong with having more than one, but the real important thing with whatever you put in there is show us why you're interested in this and, how did you get interested in it?
Great. Well, thank you all for attending this evening. It was great to have you here. If you still have questions or you have some like specific to you questions, Melanie is here to guide you through this process. So please reach out to onlinemasters_admissions@brown.edu or go to that link to schedule some time to talk with her one-on-one. And we'll answer this one last question. What if I don't have any experience in this program area? Will my application be considered?
I'll take that. So I would ask you to think about why are you here today? What is your motivation for attending this webinar? What is it about this program that you saw it on the web, or you got an email, it was in your LinkedIn, and you said, oh my goodness, this sounds like something really exciting to me. So think about what is the answer to that question? So it doesn't have to be experience in the program area. It can be a motivation. So your work artifact could literally be, I saw this advertisement and it made me think about these issues relevant to, data science policy. And you can tie into, why. So what in your life experience have you had that motivated you to be interested in this? Again, weave that narrative for us and connect whatever it is in your life that motivated you to be interested in this space. You do not have to be a technical person. You do not have to be a policy person. We literally have folks from, I don't know, Mel, I don't want to say every discipline, but pretty close.
Literally.
Who've applied for our program. If you're on the fence about this, talk to us, and literally we can help you guide. We also don't want you to be in a program you're not interested in. So we want to make sure that this is a good fit for you, but you won't know that unless you talk to us.
Definitely. And one of my favorite kind of things to say about this is like thinking about like a teacher. They're not a data scientist, but they're using a lot of student data to make decisions. So being able to tie something like that, most of us are in jobs these days where we're using data to do something. So kind of thinking about it in that lens can be helpful as well, I think. But again, thank you all for attending. It was really great to have you here. Please reach out to Melanie. She would love to talk to you and help you submit a very strong application. And we hope to see your application come through. Thank you all.
Thank you.